Hello, Shelby County High School Rocket families. My name's Sarah Taylor. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Shelby County High School. And today we wanted to record a video for you to talk about something that's very important to us here at Shelby County High School, and it is called IXL. You may have heard your student talk about this before, but in case you haven't, or in case you were a little unsure about what it is, we wanted to make this video that's really going to walk you through what it is, how and why we use it at Shelby County High School, and then most importantly, how you can support your student at home with IXL, which is going to support them with their learning in general. So let's start with what IXL is. It is an online personalized platform that allows students to practice and get some instruction on various English and math skills. And so these skills can range from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. So if you have a student in middle or elementary school, you might see them on IXL as well. The gist of it is that a student takes a test that we call a diagnostic, and that test is going to pinpoint a grade level based on their answers and their performance. From there, it also recommends them skills at that level that if they can master, it's going to move them up grade levels to grade level or beyond that. And so what's really beautiful about this is not only is it personalized, but it is very current data. So we have students take that diagnostic every 2 weeks or so to keep that information up to date. So if a student practices and masters a skill and it is on their diagnostic and they show that they have mastered it there, it will no longer recommend that for them, and it's going to replace it with another skill that will take them a little further to the next level. And so that's why IXL is so important to us, because it does allow us as teachers to really have a personalized focus and give every kid what they need for every skill. And it also allows us to make really important instructional decisions based on what kids need individually and as a whole. So let's look at it from the student platform side. When your student logs into IXL, they're going to see a screen that looks like this. On the left-hand side, you see those three columns, those three tabs there: from your teacher, recent skills, and recommendations. From your teacher are the ones that the teachers have assigned. So maybe you're working on theme in an English classroom and the teacher wants to give you more practice, they'll assign that skill. In the middle are the recent skills. That's where kids can go if they had to pause working on a skill and they want to pick it back up. Those live there. And then that third tab is the recommendations. And that's what I was talking about a second ago, where after they take the diagnostic, it will recommend the skills that they need to master in order to improve their grade level. On that right-hand side, it says step into the arena. That is what we call the IXL diagnostic. That's where kids go to re-up their score and get more recommended skills that are really tailored to their needs. So we're going to see what that looks like. So when kids click into that arena and they get to their diagnostic, this is what it looks like. It's just a general online assessment. You can see up top where they can toggle to math and language arts and do both at the same time, or they can do a language arts and a math on their own, single subjects. It's kind of up to them, but this is what it looks like when your child is taking that IXL diagnostic. And then after they take that diagnostic, it generates a report called the IXL Action Plan for every student, and it is personalized for every single student. So let's look at that for a moment. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And you can see this is for math, but it does it for every grade level. And so for math, it is pinpointing a grade level. You can see that 480 there. What the 4 means is that the child is on a fourth grade math level. And then the 80 means as if they were 80% through that fourth grade year. So those are kind of what the numbers mean. 80 is just determining how close or far away they are from that fifth grade level. And so what's cool about this as well is it breaks it down into different strands, because math is such a broad topic. So you have your numbers and operations, you have your algebraic reasoning, and then underneath that, it gives them the recommended skills. So what it's telling students is, if you can do these skills to a level of proficiency or mastery, you're going to move up to that next grade level. And so it provides this exact same thing for English as well. And this is where students can go in and they can click on that skill. And that's where it takes them to the lessons and the practice to show them that skill and to allow them to practice that skill. So now that we know a little bit more about what IXL is, let's talk about how we use it here at Shelby County High School. So one of the main ways we use it is to determine win time class placement for students. And that's what we're really going to focus on in this video. But I also wanted you to know that we use it as extra practice in class. We use it during advisory time. And then school admin and teachers really use it to monitor the progress of individual students, but also groups of students as a whole. So we really rely on this data in a lot of ways. We're going to talk a little bit more, though, about how we use it to put students in a win time class. So before I tell you how we use it for win time, I just want to give you a little bit this surface level of win time and what it means. So this little graphic probably explains it best. So every 4 weeks, your child gets placed in a new win time group, and they go there 3 days a week for 3 weeks. And that's where they're receiving that really intentional instruction based on whatever it is they need at the moment. And that's also why it changes every 4 weeks, is because we need to be responsive to the data and what's going on in the classroom and give your child what they need in that moment. And so that 4th week is really all advisory, and that's because we need to go over some goal setting things, profile of a graduate. That's our social emotional learning time. But you can see there, those blue blocks are all of the times we're in win time. So that is when we're really utilizing the data to put them in those groups. So the way students get put into the group is that teachers use IXL data, but they're also using their classroom data as well. So we're using multiple different data points and determining each child's needs and finding patterns within that. So then we find kids who have the same need and we kind of group them together. We assign them a teacher, and that is their new win time group for the next 3 weeks. During those 3 weeks, teachers are providing instruction in small groups that help students master those on grade level skills. And a lot of those skills are the skills that IXL is recommending they need to be pushed to that next grade level. But we always make sure it also aligns with an on grade level skill that they're learning in class at that moment as well. So we're trying to tackle 2 different things here. We're kind of picking up those below grade level skills while still mastering those on grade level skills. So that's what's happening with win time, and that's how we rely on the IXL data to form those groups and get the most accurate groupings that we can. So that's really the details about how we're using IXL and why we're using IXL during that win time. Overall, though, the main goal of IXL is to have students practice and reach proficiency in those recommended skills. And so our thought is that if they are working and practicing on skills targeted to their needs, that's going to increase them and get them closer to grade level or even beyond grade level if they're already at grade level on these skills. So that is going to transfer into their English and math class, but also their social studies and science and their elective classes. And even it's relevant to students outside of the classroom. So they're going to be taking a lot of assessments, whether it's KSA, AP, SAT, it might be industry certification tests. They're just going to have a wide variety of tests that they're going to have to take as well. And these skills are going to transfer over to that as well. So now the most important thing is, how can you support your child at home? So I'm going to show you some screenshots in a second so you know exactly what it looks like on your child's side. But what I want you to do is have them go to IXL and log in, and then have them work on a recommended skill. And you're going to see that again on that picture from the first couple of slides where it has their home screen and recommended skills. Have them click on one of those and start practicing. You can also check their usage to see how many skills they have practiced and brought up to proficiency. So now let's see what that looks like in these screenshots. This little screenshot here is under analytics on their page, and it's just going to give you some basic analytics on their usage on IXL. So it tells you how many questions they've answered, how much time they've spent on it, how many skills they have practiced. And it says in the last 30 days up there, but you can also toggle at the top and you can put today, 2 days ago, a week ago, a month. So you can really customize whatever time frame you're looking at there. But this is just kind of the snapshot of how they are using it. On that same page, if you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see this, which is also very important. So this tells you all the skills they have brought to mastery or proficiency in whatever time frame that you're toggling at the top. So this particular kid in the last 30 days has practiced and brought to proficiency these 8 skills. And if you look down here in the corner of the little blue flag, it says 8 proficient. That tells you that they got at least an 80% on that skill. And if it isn't mastered, there's any here for mastered, that means they brought that skill to a 100. Okay. So this is something you can talk about with your child as well. You can have conversations about, let's look at all these math skills. You've done a lot of math. Maybe we can focus on ELA. So this is a good page just to see what your child is mastering and where they're making progress. Another way you can really help your child and help support them in their learning is when they're actually in a skill itself. So when you click a skill, it's going to pop up some questions like this. If you're finding that your student is getting these type of questions or this particular skill wrong over and over and over, which may happen because this is a skill obviously they don't have or IXL wouldn't recommend it. So if you're finding they're getting it wrong, encourage them to go up here to these 2 little drop downs. So you can hit learn with an example or watch a video, and that provides them some direct instruction on how to answer this question and how to think about this skill. So when you click on learn with example, it's going to look something like this. And this one really just uses words to explain to them either a process if it's math, or if it's reading, it might explain to them the thinking that they need to use when they're reading that particular passage. It just gives them guidance on how to answer the question. If your student is finding that's not really working for them, they can also click watch a video. And so then it pops up a video screen in their IXL. And it is kind of like direct instruction as if a teacher were in front of you. So it breaks down the vocab. It will probably model one of those math problems that it was doing and kind of walk students step by step through that process. And so what you can do is encourage them, if they're getting it wrong over and over, make sure that you're trying to learn first before you just keep practicing the questions incorrectly, because what's going to happen, that's going to become embedded in their brain and they're going to keep practicing that way. And we want them to have the instruction first so that they can get those questions correct. So you can encourage your child to do that. Also encourage them to take notes. And a lot of our IXL academic support groups during that win time, a lot of those students have notebooks for IXL specifically that they're taking notes in every time that they are practicing a skill and learning through one of these 2 methods. And so that's really the gist of IXL, how we're using it, why we're using it, and how you can support your kid. Something else that I really wanted to reiterate is the importance of trying hard. And so that's another way you can support us, is encourage your student to try really hard on the diagnostics and on the skills, because we truly use this data to make instructional decisions for the school and for your child. And if that data is inaccurate because your kid's not trying hard, then it's not doing anybody any service. So we need valid, accurate data, which means we need kids to put their best effort on that test. And so if you can encourage them to do that, that would also be very supportive for us. Their next IXL diagnostic is coming up. It is actually November 19th. The window is open from the 18th through the 20th, but the 19th is the day that we take the first hour of the day on the 19th. They go to advisory and they take that diagnostic, the whole school at the same time. So the 19th is coming up. Encourage your child, try hard on this. And then when they come home that day, look at their recommended skills, work through a skill with them, and tell them how important it is to get exactly what they need and how it's going to help them in all of their other classes. That's the gist of it. If you have any questions, of course, you can always contact your child's teacher. You can contact the guidance office. You can contact me. We will be happy to answer any of your questions about IXL or about anything else that's going on at Shelby County High School. As always, we really appreciate your support and we thank you for watching and dedicating some time to your students' learning.